I don't know if you heard the National Security Advisor say just moments ago, we played the sound, NATO membership for Ukraine not on the table, reiterating that the United States is basically giving Russia one of its key demands before negotiations really even start with Ukraine. Your view?
Yeah, we're normalizing relations with Russia without getting any concessions. It's diplomacy 101, a mistake. Negotiating in public, another mistake. But it's hard to be surprised that President Trump can't acknowledge that Russia invaded Ukraine. He questions Zelensky's legitimacy, despite the fact his poll numbers are better than Trump's, and he was elected. And he doesn't question Putin's legitimacy. I mean, this is a man who didn't sprout from young Russians for democracy. He came from the KGB, a ruthless tyrant who kills his opposition. So if we can't agree on that, we have a long way to go to do the right thing for Ukraine and NATO.
So the United States keeps pushing Ukraine to make some kind of a mineral deal. This was a deal that President Zelensky rejected about 10 days ago because at the time it was believed it had no security guarantees from the United States. The United States keeps on pushing, and there have been talks there. Bloomberg, a few minutes ago, came out with a report. They call it an exclusive that the U.S. will commit to a free, sovereign, and secure Ukraine and a lasting peace as part of a mineral deal. The U.S. will agree to a durable partnership, will signal intent to invest in Ukraine, and also say that those who acted adversely to Ukraine should not benefit from its reconstruction. What would your view be of that kind of an agreement?
Well, first, I'm not sure I would trust the Trump administration on anything like that. If you're Ukraine, you've got to remember from the Budapest era that those guarantees weren't backed up either. So finally, let's talk about that deal. They want $2 for every $1 in aid. Churchill didn't say to Europe just before we landed in Normandy, you're going to pay us twice the amount of money we spend to liberate France and Europe. It's extraordinary at a difficult time. So, and finally, why are we telling Ukraine they have to pay for this twice? You could get a better deal from Tony Soprano. At the same time, you're not telling Putin you have to pay reparations. Typically, the aggressor has to pay for reparations. Otherwise, Ukraine's going to have to spend, hundreds of years, literally, to pay back an agreement for what we should be doing to support them, to support democracy in the world.
A couple other news items I want to ask you about. Overnight, the president named conservative podcaster Dan Bongino as the deputy director of the FBI. What's your view of that appointment?
Yeah, look, I think the appointments to the intelligence community as a whole, including the FBI, are going to make us less safe. Overall, they lack extraordinary any levels of experience. They're totally in agreement with the president when it comes to going after those he doesn't like, politicizing them, weaponizing them, making us less safe. Looking at the whole of them from Tulsi Gabbard on, I doubt any of our allies will trust us to share information that keeps us safe. All in all, some of the worst picks in our lifetime.
Elon Musk sent an email out, or directed an email to be sent out to all federal employees telling them they had to list 5 things they accomplished in the last week or risk getting fired. They have to do that by midnight tonight. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I want to see the air traffic controllers have to explain what they do to keep us safe. I want to make doctors who keep our veterans safe and healthy at our hospitals have to explain what they do and why it's so important. Or FBI agents or food inspectors. Now, I tell folks, try not to think about food inspectors when you bite into another sandwich with boar's head, when your life could be at risk. So it's a hypocrisy for a guy who gets billions of dollars in subsidies and grants from the federal government. I want him to explain and rationalize all that and why he's attacking agencies which are currently investigating him and his entities.
Congressman Mike Quigley, thanks for coming on this morning. Appreciate your time, sir.